No, see, the funniest thing about life on the road is you can never expect what each day will be. It's brilliant. It's so good. I don't do
shots anymore straight.
Well, you can just sip it.
Dude, I can't get down with Brown.
I'm like a...
That's because it turns you into a clown.
That's pretty true.
I just turned into a douche. Bigger douche than normal.
So you can be the super douche.
Savannah is like, really? That can happen? Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Hi, Savannah. How you doing?
Where's my girl? Is she out of your way now? Oh, good. She's on the crash pad again.
That's her favorite place.
How much are crash pads? Fuck. I'll just... Of course, no. If I buy it,
dude,
then she'll ignore it.
Dude, you could get one with your Toyota on it.
Yeah, and then she'd ignore it even more.
No, she would be all over.
She's like a cat. If you buy the biggest fucking cat condo thingy, they go, oh, that's an amazing $300 thing, and I will never use it.
Hey everybody, Jamie here from Enigmatic Nomadics, and I am down in beautiful Baja, Mexico right now, spending a little time taking care of some things I need to take care of and vacationing. And along the way I ran into a couple that I think you're really gonna like, and I'm talking about Greg and Jesse. They have a Skoolie similar to mine, similar to the one we did for Tamara, but it's got a 4-wheel drive kit on it. And you know, one of the things we like to do when we meet another van dweller is kind of take a peek inside each other's rides. And when he offered me a peek into his, I knew that I couldn't let the opportunity go without getting it to save for you. And so when he agreed to let us interview him, I was over the moon. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce you to Greg and Jesse.
Hey Savannah, how's it going, buddy?
So how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
No bad days in Baja.
Exactly.
How long have you been down here?
2 months now. Yeah, 2 excellent months.
Okay. And where are you coming from?
Well, we came from by way of North Carolina, but the last year we've been on the road for 14 months. We've done 40,000 miles, all 48 lower states, and it's been amazing. Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride.
What were you doing before, Jesse, if you don't mind me asking?
I was a bartender in a California bar. Well, it was a bar in California, but it was a British pub.
Okay.
So I fit in.
What has the transition been like for you from doing that to be out here doing this?
It's harder, I think, to live in a van for a girl. Mm-hmm. But it's not that hard. I mean, you just take less showers.
I think one of the biggest things about transitioning from the home life and the modern conveniences that you have there is you have to let go of a lot of the stigmas that come with the everyday living in a house. Is like people's idea of cleanliness has gotten to a point where it's almost sterile now.
But no, is it filming?
Yeah, it's filming, but I can cut anything out.
All right, there we go. Sorry, I'm back. I was unplugging and... so yeah, no, it's one of the biggest things is the change of loss of modern convenience, because most people have this stigma of the level of cleanliness, of how many times you have to shower a week, and then women are brought up with this kind of mystery, like they're supposed to be mysterious, they're not supposed to pee, poop, anything like that, or like any bodily function. So I think that's one of the hardest things for people to get used to, is being in close quarters. You have to become a lot more comfortable with each other and understand that they are a human being. So I think that's one of the biggest curves. I think that's one of the hardest ones.
For a girl.
Woman, yeah.
For a girl, definitely.
Yeah. But for a guy, it's dealing with the initial kind of shock of you're the only one that you could rely on for anything. If something breaks, you have to fix it, or you're going to be paying through the nose to get it fixed. So you kind of have to be essentially a jack of all trades, or you have to learn really quick. You have to be extremely good at Google. Like, oh, I got to fix this, make this work. So, but the road is amazing, man. It opens up the world to you completely.
And you get to meet so many new people.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny because life is about stories, and the best place to gain stories is over food and drink and a fire and hang out, and just you get to realize your place in the thread of existence and the tapestry of life. And I know it's like Zen and kind of like whatever, but it really is true. You know, we each all deserve the ground we're standing in and the air we're breathing, so long as we're respectful to others' space.
Do you have anything you would like to add, Jesse? I know before we turned the camera on, Jesse wasn't super keen on coming over and speaking with us, so I really appreciate you doing that.
Thanks.
Only because we're all parting company tomorrow. We've been all hanging out for a little bit here, and it's been so fun. All the car digging out that you've done. Craig, I haven't really done much, but a car gets stuck a day in the sand.
We need a towing company.
The only thing I mean, you can spend a lot of time with your significant other, but you're going to spend all your time with them. Like, all of it. I think in 14 months, we've probably been apart for 50 hours.
Yeah. So that's a big realization, is that becoming comfortable with who you are and who you are to them. You know, because the best mirror for who you are is someone else that gets to view you 24/7. So when you're in a bad mood, they know it before you even like show it, you know? So it's coming to terms with your own little demons and realizing that through their eyes you can see your flaws way better and work on them and get through that and become whole.
You just have to have a more open sense of communications. I mean, most people go to work separately for 50 hours a week, and then they've got kids and hobbies and friends that they go see separately. Yeah, we don't have any of that. I mean, we have friends and hobbies, but we normally do them together.
Right. I think the thing about it is that anyone could go out and buy a Sprinter and a Ford Transit in any of those vehicles. They're super easy to come by. They're commercially available, and they're great. They're utilitarian. They fit the bill. They're everything you need them to be, but there's nothing unique. There's no personality. There's no individuality that is wrapped up in sheet metal that over time it earns its own personality. Hunter, do not scare the poor puppy. Hunter.
This is Hunter that's been over here beating up on Savannah.
Hunter, you evil killer kitty.
Not on purpose. Look, here's Savannah.
Poor Savannah. What are you doing, you dog?
It's okay.
He looked like he was gonna all out.
Thug. You all fluffiness.
Come here, dude.
You little fluffy gangster.
You're working. You don't even have a job. You don't know what it's like.
Jesse, is there anything else that you'd like to add before? I'm going to ask Greg to give us the tour. And
Just enjoy the tour.
okay. Thanks for taking it.
Would you like to get back to your cocktail now?
Yep.
Vaya con Dios, mi amiga.
I'll watch Savannah.
There you have it.
There you go. You watch Savannah. All right, guys. Here, come on in. Okay, well, I guess you're rolling, right? So welcome to our home. This is our 105 square feet of happiness. We found the bus on eBay on Christmas Eve, actually, and called the guy up with a phone number and said, hey, this is the money we have. And I asked him, hey, is that cool? And he's like, if you come on out immediately to buy it, absolutely, I will take that, because we told him what we were looking to do with it, where we were looking to go with it, and he was kind of pissed off at his kid for painting it flat black. That was the only thing that we didn't do to the bus. Right. So his kid was turning it into a hunting vehicle in New Hampshire, and found it on eBay, got a flight from Ontario, California, all the way out to Exeter, New Hampshire. In 4 days, made it back to Ontario for New Year's Eve, and it was 400 miles, 900 miles, 800 miles, 800 miles roughly, in 4 days in a row, just hammering down to get back home. And then we started the build out, and we had to wait for one or two components, but once we started cutting the seats out, the seat cutting out took 3 days, which was miserable because they were rusted, they sucked, it was just terrible. 9 days to do everything that was done. We tried to keep it really simple, low key, and not fancy, because fancy breaks all the time, and it's worked out great for us. So we have, let's see, we'll start with 30 gallons of fresh water underneath with our little IKEA bathroom sink that works great. We have our water pump, that's a 1 gallon water pump from Shore. Then we have 40 pounds of propane underneath here for our little 2-burner Flame King, which is awesome. Simple pantry, works great. We utilized all the nuts and bolts and screw mounts already in the bus to just do some quick threaded rod to hold them in place with some L brackets. One of the best things that we came across is just simply screwing everything up and underneath, and it works awesome. Super easy, great storage. Keeps everything where you need it to be. Won't break, won't rattle, won't bounce around at all. Pergo 24 floor. This floor is amazing. You could spill stuff on it, kill it. It just stays looking good. We haven't mopped it in a while, so don't mind that.
Is it linoleum?
It's a pressed. It's like a pressed fiber board, but it clicks in place. Super easy, super cool. Dometic 95 quart fridge freezer. This thing has been an unbelievable setup. We have one side that's a freezer, one side that's the fridge. Keeps everything fresh, everything ice cold, which is super brilliant. Then our ice maker, the Igloo ice maker, which is gold. This little guy down here, which is gold down in Baja, because this, a big old bag of ice. You can't beat that. You want a cold drink? There it is, exactly. So, Revel lights. These are awesome little LED lights. They have 10 different cycles, all different lighting. LED, then put no draw coming off. We have 600 watt solar on the roof. We have 500 amp hour batteries, some sealed AGMs from Apex. They're $250 each, putting together for a 500. We have a 3,000 watt inverter, which just kicked on to let us know it was wanting to do its thing. We'll shut that off so it's not loud. And then we have a isolator from the alternator up front, so we charge our batteries and top them off whenever we go. All our controls are from Renogy. Our panels are from Renogy. The bed slides out another foot. Memory foam mattress, which is super cool. We have a lovely little Dometic toilet. We have a instant hot water EcoTemp shower back here, which has been invaluable. Sorry for having to get you in there. That thing's been awesome for a quick draw. We have a urinal, which is super fucking great. So when it's ice cold out, nasty, raining, and disgusting, you don't have to go outside. Plus, you're not filling up your toilet with it. We store our bikes inside because the less people see from the outside is brilliant. We have enough room for all of our climbing gear, our crash pads, our photography gear. Yeah, it's everything we need it to be, and it's been fantastic. We love it in this little guy. Oh, and then the original fan from the dash back when it was a school bus. Yeah. Just moved it back out here. And then up front in the cockpit, we went with a rear view camera from backupsafety.com, which it should turn on right there. That guy has been unbelievably invaluable. Like, can't tell you how much easier it makes driving and getting around. And then we have a whole bunch of LED lights front and rear. Everything is just, it's been outstanding. So we also have a table that fits into a table leg right over where you're standing. And then the countertop is mahogany and Brazilian Primavera. I had help from two friends that are woodworkers to put that together, and we did that on the fly in North Carolina, and it's been this way since we hit the road. Oh, and then one of the best things is our little exhaust fan. This bad boy, 16-inch from Advanced Auto Parts, and it cost us $60, and that's better than a fantastic fan. It makes more noise, but it moves a ton of air. You can feel it cooling down instantly. And it costs $60 instead of like $300 for a fantastic, whatever those are, those fantastic fans. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. That's our bus. That's our 105 square feet of amazingness. Yeah.
So just to reflect back on a few of the things that you had mentioned, let's talk about, you have 600 watts on the roof, and it's all Renogy, which means you got
the MPPT controller, the meter.
The controller. The batteries are Renogy. What type of controller do you have?
So we have their, I think it's their 50 amp MPPT controller. It's the Commander.
Okay.
It's been outstanding. And then another thing we bought was a NoCo Genius, which is it's utilized on boats for cleaning batteries. So it's a 110. It's kind of like shore power. But what it does is it descales your batteries and decrystallizes your batteries. You plug it in, it goes full cycle, cleans your batteries out, and helps extend the life of your battery. So it's one of the most outstanding things. We stop every 3 months. Like, we're going into Loretto tomorrow night, and we're going to stop in an RV park, take a shower, do some laundry. But I'll plug it in, cycle through, and it helps extends the life of the battery. You can find it on Amazon. That's the other thing, is we found so many things on Amazon, on blogs, on this and that just made it so much simpler to have all of the best little pieces and tidbits. And then also utilizing stuff from Lowe's and Home Depot. Like all of our switches are all house switches. We didn't go anything fancy, anything marine, because we're in a house. You don't really need it. And it's just being smart about it and taking your time to read about it and be safe. Like, yeah, with electricity, put in bus breakers, put in extra fuses, take every single step that you can to make the system to where there's a lot of fallbacks and safeties, and so you're not going to get a short circuit, get a fire, get anything dumb, because a lot of people don't take the time to really sit there and do things correctly. They'd rather rush, and then a lot of people that think they know what they're doing really don't. So if you're nervous about it, ask a friend. Ask Google, go and do some research, because it's a lot simpler than you think, and pretty much anyone can do it. And you know, it's one of the greatest ways to live, man. It really is. It's been fantastic for us.
I'm just curious about that ice maker. I've wanted to get an ice maker myself. Do you run that all the time? It seems like it's heavy draw.
No, so I believe it is 9 amp on startup when it starts the cooling cycle, and then it's only about 1.4 from what we've seen on our meter. It hasn't drawn any power that we've noticed as like a big depletion, but then again, we do have a lot of overkill. So we have 500 amp hours, and then we only run it during the day when solar is coming in full blast.
So you shut it off when you go to bed.
Yeah. Well, we run it probably 2 days a week, 3 days a week. This one makes, I want to say it's 23 pounds in 24 hours. Like, it makes a ton of ice.
Do you run a line to that, or just pour water in it?
You just pour water in it. Yeah, it's just a simple reservoir right underneath. Here, let me slide this guy out so you can see it. Yeah, no, this thing is so...
For me.
Yeah, this thing is pretty rad. So just turn this on, power that up, and then you got different sizes, small or large. And then you'll see it start cycling through, and it'll start cooling and making ice within about 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It starts dropping its first ice cubes, which are a little small, but then within about 30 minutes, you're making full-size ice cubes, which are, like I showed you before, like that big.
Go ahead.
So I think one of the biggest things that people have to get used to is getting over the fear of not being in a house, not having your foundation, your little security cocoon that a lot of people are so accustomed to, because that's what we're raised with. That's how we're built. You know, you're raised with you need 2 bedrooms, you need the pool, you need the backyard, you need all these things, but in that, it shelters you and takes you away from being a part of the real world. So you can find home. Like, this is our home. There's no place else. We go to like places where like we stay with our friends. We stay in the bus in their driveway. We don't stay in their guest rooms. We don't. It's weird to us, like, to stay in people's houses. So you're gonna find the greatest freedoms in the world, so long as you could just take the first step. You know, that's the biggest thing, is take the first step, pull out of the driveway, make a left, and there you go. Cheers.
Sounds good. Let's take a look at the outside.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that makes this bus unique is that it actually is 4-wheel drive.
Oh yeah, the handle's right there. If you turn around, the 4-wheel drive lever is right. Let me get my hangboard out of the way. Whoa, watch out, puppy head. Yeah, so real deal, 4-wheel drive.
So there it is with a compound low he has. And he's cut his bottom step out so he doesn't take the windows out. I haven't done that yet. I'm probably going to take my windows out on the rock.
Also, I put in a seat for Jessie. We have our lovely Sparko racing seat, so she could actually sit next to me instead of behind me or in the passenger area, which is always just strange. So yeah, this was converted by Quigly 4-wheel drive when it was brand new in 2004. Ooh, my sunglasses. I need those. It was converted back in 2004 by Quigly 4-wheel drive when it was a school bus. The body was built by Thomas out of North Carolina, and we've done 40,000 miles. We've been all over the United States in it. We've the backcountry of Wyoming, we've been to Washington, we've been everywhere. We had this thing up over Mount Evans, and you should see people's faces at 14,000 plus feet when this little bus comes trolling up there and keeps going. And yeah, 4-wheel drive is just, it's one of the greatest things to have, especially down here because of the beaches. the sand is so soft and people get stuck. We've probably pulled out like 10 people since we've been in Baja. And yeah, it's great. And BF Goodrich, those are the best tires you're gonna get, the KO2s. They're perfect for Baja, perfect for off-roading. What do we do on the outside? Okay, so we do our big old LEDs out front. Those suckers are brighter than you could ever want.
Who makes those?
Those are just knockoffs with Cree bulbs. They're kind of like the ARBs, but on a budget. So they work great. We haven't had any problems, and they're a fraction of the price.
Okay.
Solar shower.
Okay.
You need one of those, especially if you have a woman that likes to shave her legs, which my wife does. Shovel. You always need a good shovel. Traction pads that have been mangled, and not by our bus. It was actually by a Sprinter that got stuck, which was weird, odd, and crazy.
454 symbol there.
Yeah. And then good locks. Always go with good locks, because you don't want anyone coming in and taking your stuff.
That's Master brand.
Yeah.
And where would you find those?
Those are at Home Depot, Lowe's, anywhere. Just be real careful, because when this hole was drilled that you see a bolt not in, my delightful wife placed this hole and it's like, oh, that should be fine. Just happens to be that the wire harness runs right here. So I had to pull the wall off and rewire the whole back wall for any of these lights to work. LED light bar, once again, it's Cree bulbs, super bright, amazing. Backup camera from backupsafety.com. Converted everything to LEDs. Jerry can, of course. Our little aluminum toolbox that someone backed into and busted, which is kind of sad, but it works great. Our quick and dirty simple awning, little triangle awning.
Yeah, I really like this awning. I was noticing that, and I haven't had a chance to put anything out for shade as yet, and the tarp that I had took forever, so I'm gonna go this route.
Honestly, it's super simple. We stopped at Lowe's, we picked up a little piece of rod and a foot, picked up some eye hooks, screwed them right through the drip rail, threw a carabiner on there, a little tie down off of our hand weights, because fitness on the road too is super important, trying to stay healthy. Yeah, and then the scuttle. That is my #1 way to cook on the road. That thing from Timbo Tusk has been amazing. We figured out how to hook it up to a 20-pound bottle, so we could have a bottle, and it makes a delightful mess all over the bus whenever I fry fresh fish out of the bay from Baja, which was delicious the other night.
The triggerfish?
Oh yeah, God, it was amazing. Helinox chairs, invaluable. They pack up super tiny, they're super light. And we've had them for a couple of years now since they came out, and we haven't had a problem with them. And yeah, that's about it.
Is there anything that you think that you would want for that really sticks out as a sore thumb that you still feel like, boy, I wish that we could accomplish this as far as the construction goes?
Things that I would want to change, probably not. Honestly, I'm pretty stoked on it. If anything, I would probably switch to singles in the rear. Okay. Get rid of the dualies, because we have had problems with not being able to air down as much as we would like. But then again, we haven't really had any issues with that thanks to the 4-wheel drive. But other than that, you know, honestly, we've been super stoked on it. It's been outstanding, you know, for rain, shine. Yeah, we were at Glacier National in February last year. We had the little wood stove that we used to have in there. We had the stove crank, and it was like 12 outside and 72 in the bus. Nice. And we were the only people in Glacier at the time, so we had the park to ourselves, and it was fantastic. But no, all in all, it's been a great platform. It's been outstanding, and we will miss it when we put it in storage and head to Europe. So that's the next thing we're doing. We're gonna go to England, where my wife's from, and we're gonna build out another little vehicle to do Africa and Southeast Asia in the next few years. So this guy's gonna sit in storage.
Wow.
Too expensive to bring it overseas.
Now, I wish that I could take a trip like that with you, or maybe want to take a trip like that at some point, perhaps.
Absolutely.
If I want to see how it goes for you, is there a way I can chronicle your travels?
RoamFreeLiveWild.com. Yeah, roam free, live wild. And
okay.
we have to stop being lazy with it, but we'll definitely get up on the blog again. And the Instagram, we're always putting up Instagrams constantly. We have a YouTube. Same name, well, Roam Free, Live Wild. And yeah, we'll just not be lazy anymore with it.
Well, you sure weren't lazy with giving us the tour.
No, not at all.
Been super fun hanging out with you over the last couple of days.
Absolute pleasure, man.
And Thanks for giving us a tour.
Absolutely, guys.
Alright. Something about a bed. Where's my luggage? Don't be afraid. Bye, cafe.
La cama.
Oh my gosh.
Sí. Adiós.
Can't remember what I just said.